Can you kind of tell me about the challenges you were facing with your old system and what helped you make the decision to move to Swimmingly?
Well, what made us move over to Swimmingly was Midlake suggested that we do it. Everybody having the automated start thing, because there are other teams in the division that have pads or they have the dolphin timing system. And so trying to find a system where not as expensive as getting touchpad and all that stuff. Obviously, the other one was just knowing how it's hard to find volunteers, being able to go with the two timers.
So, can you tell me a little bit about your team and your league?
Our team is Woodridge Swim Club, and this year we had 115 swimmers. Everybody in our division, which is 3 teams, are using Swimmingly.
Awesome. Great. And then how long have you been with your team?
I've been with the team, I guess, for a while, since my kids were 8.
Wow.
And now they're 14 and 16. So for a while.
That's great. Can you tell me a little bit about your role and your responsibilities in your role?
My role has been swim team coordinator, peel the layers back so that it's not just a 2 or 1 person show. So most of it's been managing volunteers, managing swim meets, managing our events that we have just on the teams, and then being the swim team, kind of like when we have our swim meets, managing that, and when we have our championships, managing that. So kind of just all around. And so we've been trying to kind of break it apart so that there's many different pieces. We'll see how that goes next year, because I said I'm not doing swim rep anymore. I said the only thing I'll keep on is I'm going to call it Swimmingly lead.
That's great. I love that. We have a couple teams that have adopted like a Swimmingly liaison role or Swimmingly expert role. So that's you. Yeah. Perfect person for the job. That's awesome. Were you in your role when you guys used the old system?
I think we were using high tech. We were just using stopwatches and high tech. I just wasn't as involved. I think Swimmingly brought me more into, like, myself and Emily were the ones that like learned how to use it.
Okay.
So that brought us into more roles.
Awesome. If you don't remember, no worries. We can just talk Swimmingly, but can you kind of tell me about the challenges you were facing with your old system and what helped you make the decision to move to Swimmingly?
What made us move over to Swimmingly was Midlake suggested that we do it. I think it was because of everybody having, what do they call it? Like the automated start thing, because there are other teams in the division that have pads or they have the dolphin timing system. And so trying to find a system where it's not as expensive as getting touchpad and all that stuff for a short summer swim season. So I think that was one. And then obviously the other one was just knowing how it's hard to find volunteers. And so instead of having to have 3 timers in every lane, being able to go with the 2 timers. So I think those were the 2 things. I would say that the biggest challenge, and this is just reference from another team that I like prior to when I did high tech data entry, that was it's a lot. It's kind of, although sometimes we feel like the scorekeeper's role is a little bit stressful because they're trying to keep up with the meet, but it's so much easier to have that data pull in rather than having to hand key it, because I was never one that memorized the keyboard.
And then what are the top 3 pain points that Swimmingly addresses? Or a better question or way to phrase it might be what are the top 3 things that Swimmingly has that makes your life easier in your role?
I would say there's less stress on the scorekeeper with just all the data coming in. So I would say that one. Overall, needing less volunteers. I would say that's a big one. And I think, you know what, people really do like the Swimmingly fan being able to see kind of, what's kind of happening and going on during a swim meet, because it's parents that don't have year-round swimmers. They don't know any different, but parents that do have year-round and they're using, is it Meet Manager or something, or Meet Mobile or whatever that is, and they're kind of used to that as being something. And so I think that features.
Yeah. And then how was your transition into Swimmingly?
I thought it was fine.
Okay. Yeah.
Because I don't know. It was just kind of like, okay, let's try this. This is new, whatever. And so I mean, it was nice because I had a bunch of people that embraced it, weren't like stuck in sort of like, oh, high tech is the best and this is the way we always do it. We had like parents that were kind of eager about using it. And I think that was helpful.
Great. What has it meant for your overall, I guess, overall division would make more sense for your guys' case, like your overall division operation?
I mean, just the fact that we all use the same thing. I think that, there's still we still have one team that would prefer to use paper DQ slips, but they're starting to come around. So, I mean, there's certain things that they're starting to come around. So I think every year I think it gains more like confidence that it's fine.
How long do your meets typically last?
2 to 3 hours, closer to 3, but yeah.
Around 3. Awesome. Then if you had to like approximate, how many volunteers do you have at your meet?
So we have a 6-lane pool and we typically do 2 timers each lane. And then we have 2 stroke and turn judges. So we have a starter. We like to do a scorekeeper and a scorekeeper assist, be like the runner. And then we typically have a ref and we've had to adopt the CJ role because we don't have paper to sign off on anymore. Some teams have felt comfort by having someone just go over and verify.
And then how many hours do you think you save of like extra work that you don't no longer have to do with Swimmingly?
So like after the meet and, Swimmingly is closed, we like to kind of run through. Anytime we have a meet with somebody, it's kind of like look at it just to verify, like, does everything look right or whatever. So there is some back end stuff because I think I sent you some of the screenshots from Plateau Club that we were kind of like, what is going on there?
Yeah.
Like it's all crazy. So that particular person probably had to do extra work that it was probably a headache for them. So we like to avoid that by trying to get it done in the meet time frame. Definitely saves time. Maybe it's like 50% less, you know what I mean? Less time to be entering stuff.
When you run your swim meets, what's the most overlooked detail that you find yourself educating your parents or your volunteers on?
It's the timing, which I don't understand why it's so difficult. And I love, like you guys had the Swimmingly Academy kind of thing. So I took I didn't take all of them. I didn't do the stroke and turn one, but like I took all of them just to kind of see what it would give you. And I'm like, okay, clearly it says these things and how to use it. And I would send it out to parents, but I think parents just did not take the time.
Yeah.
So I think it's educating the new timers on how to use the system properly. Maybe that's just in the world of like back in the day where Word docs, you would have to save and continue or you'd lose your data. And then people have gotten used to, you don't really have to do that. It's auto saved. So I don't know if that's what's been happening. They haven't saved and continued and then they've lost the time or what's going on or I don't know. I think it's a simple process, but.
Okay, final 2 questions for you. What is your favorite thing about Swimmingly?
I think it just it sucks the data. I mean, I don't know. It's like the automated start, so you don't have to worry about everybody's reaction time and how they do it. So
the synchronization of it.
Yeah.
And then what advice would you have for someone else considering using Swimmingly?
What advice? I think it would be, gathering a team of people that are behind it. It's going to make it so much easier than if it's just one person's idea. And use all the educational things that you guys have provided to learn the system and then test it out.